Hu Yixuan was born on August 30th, 1996, in Hunan County, Jimusi City, Heilongjiang Province. She was born into an ordinary family, but Hu Yixuan was greatly loved and pampered by her parents. Hu Yixuan didn't let her parents' love go to waste. From a young age, she showed great intelligence and quick-wittedness, always achieving excellent academic results. In her free time at home, Hu Yixuan often helped her parents with housework. In the eyes of the neighbors, Hu Yixuan was the epitome of a model child. When Hu Yixuan turned 8, her parents decided to leave their hometown and move south to seek better opportunities for the family, leaving her to live with her grandmother. Though she lacked the presence of her parents for many years, Hu Yixuan continued to excel in her studies. In fact, her performance improved. At the end of middle school, she was selected to represent her school in the provincial literature competition. After graduating from middle school, Hu Yixuan decided not to continue to high school. Instead, she enrolled in Heilongjiang Forestry Medical School and began studying nursing. At the medical school, Hu Yixuan remained diligent in her studies. With her cute appearance, hard-working nature, and obedient attitude towards her teachers, she was well liked by both her teachers and classmates. Growing up in such a warm environment, Hu Yixuan became kind-hearted and lacked any wariness of the harsh realities of life. In 2013, at just 16 years old, Hu Yixuan graduated and was accepted into the Hunan County People's Hospital as an intern. With her seriousness and outstanding professional skills, she was highly regarded by the department heads, who assured her that if she wished to stay at the hospital, she could start working immediately without waiting for her internship to end. However, tragedy struck Hu Yixuan on July 24, 2023. One day, after finishing her shift as usual, Hu Yixuan was on her way home. As she passed through a small alley near the hospital, she suddenly saw a pregnant woman slip and fall to the ground. Without thinking much, Hu Yixuan rushed over to help the woman stand up. The woman cried out in pain and asked Hu Yixuan for help in getting home. Since it was on her way, Hu Yixuan agreed, unaware that she was falling into a trap that had been meticulously set by this woman. This woman, named Tan Beibei, was working as an office employee at a company in Yantai, Shandong Province, when, in 2011, she was struck by love at first sight with a driver named Bai Yunjiang. At their very first meeting, they became intimate. As their relationship deepened, they decided to get married, but Tan Beibei's parents opposed the marriage because they were not well matched. Tan Beibei's family believed that their daughter, who had graduated from college, had a stable job and earned more than Bai Yunjiang. Meanwhile, Bai Yunjiang was from a rural family in the border region of Heilongjiang Province, with a low level of education and no stable job. Despite her family's objections, Tan Beibei was determined to follow her boyfriend and left Yantai for his hometown in Hunan County, where they registered their marriage. It was here that Tan Beibei discovered that Bai Yunjiang had been through 2 failed marriages and had a 17-year-old daughter. However, Tan Beibei did not care about her husband's past. After some time living together, Tan Beibei became pregnant. In 2013, Bai Yunjiang returned to Yantai to apply for a birth certificate for their soon-to-be-born child. On May 23rd, he gathered with many of his former colleagues for a drink. While drunk, someone accidentally revealed that Tan Beibei had once had a brief affair with a male colleague, a story that the entire company knew about. Comparing the timeline, Bai Yunjiang realized that Tan Beibei had been unfaithful during a period when they were having a Cold War. It was a day in May 2012 when Tan Beibei had to entertain a client to push through an order for the company. After some conversation, Tan Beibei and the client seemed to hit it off very well, responding to each other's cues smoothly. After the meal, the client suggested booking a hotel room to rest, and Tan Beibei agreed. Upon learning that he had been betrayed, Bai Yunjiang was furious. He immediately bought a train ticket home where he beat and questioned his wife about why she had betrayed him. Tan Beibei only cried and said that she had drunk too much that day and wasn't in control, begging her husband for forgiveness. After the incident, Bai Yunjiang quit his job and showed no concern for his pregnant wife. Aware of her mistake, Tan Beibei desperately tried to hold on to the relationship. Thinking of how Tan Beibei had given up everything for him, Bai Yunjiang couldn't bring himself to leave her. He said he forgave her, but deep down, he still harbored resentment over the betrayal. On several occasions, Bai Yunjiang deliberately picked fights, leading to arguments, and then beating Tan Beibei. Feeling guilty, Tan Beibei silently endured the abuse. One time, after being berated by her husband, Tan Beibei had the thought, "What if I find a young girl to make it up to you?" According to Tan Beibei, it was just a joke, but unexpectedly Bai Yunjiang forced her to follow through. From the apartment balcony, Bai Yunjiang would look down at the young women walking by and kept urging Tan Beibei, "Go downstairs and lure one of them up here for me." Starting in July 2013, Tan Beibei began to wander around the area, looking for opportunities to approach young women walking alone under Bai Yunjiang's remote direction. Tan Beibei would pretend to hold her pregnant belly and cry out in pain, asking for help. During her first attempt at hunting, Tan Beibei blocked the way of a female student who had just finished school. She then put sleeping pills into yogurt and gave it to the girl to eat. However, upon discovering that the girl was only 13 years old, Tan Beibei felt guilty and decided not to continue with her plan. In her second attempt, she managed to lure an apparently mature woman to help her upstairs. However, just as they reached the corridor, the woman received a phone call and said she had to go home immediately, despite Tan Beibei's pleas. On the afternoon of July 24th, 2013, Tan Beibei crushed several sleeping pills and mixed them into a container of yogurt, as she had done before. She then went downstairs to find a target. There, she pretended to fall and tricked Hu Yixuan, an 18-year-old intern nurse at the County People's Hospital in Hunan, into helping her to her apartment on the 5th floor. Initially, Hu Yixuan only intended to take Tan Beibei to the bottom of the building and leave, but Tan Beibei insisted on not letting go, claiming that it was difficult for her to climb the stairs due to her pregnancy, and requesting Hu Yixuan to help her up to her apartment. When they reached room 501 as Hu Yixuan was about to leave, Bai Yunjiang opened the door. He and his wife warmly invited Hu Yixuan inside, saying they wanted to ask about prenatal care. During the conversation, Bai Yunjiang brought out 2 bottles of yogurt and offered them to Hu Yixuan as a token of gratitude. Without much thought, Hu Yixuan drank it all at once. A few minutes later, under the effect of the sleeping pills, Hu Yixuan began to fall into a coma. Afterwards, Tan Beibei went into her child's room while Bai Yunjiang began carrying Hu Yixuan to the bedroom. At this point, he noticed Hu Yixuan was on her menstrual period. However, he didn't care and continued with his depraved actions. While he was committing the act, Hu Yixuan suddenly woke up and fought back. Hearing the noise, Tan Beibei rushed in. Under the direction of her husband, and with his help, they restrained Hu Yixuan, worried that she might report them to the police if she managed to get out. Bai Yunjiang then decided to kill her and smothered the victim with a pillow. To dispose of the body, they stuffed the victim into a travel suitcase and drove over 20 kilometers to bury the suitcase in a cornfield on the outskirts of Huainan County. After committing the crime, the couple separated and fled. On the afternoon of July 25th, the police received a missing person report from Hu Yixuan's family. She had left the hospital after 3 p.m. on July 24th to go home, but the family lost contact and could not find her. Through surveillance camera data, the police discovered that Hu Yixuan had met a pregnant woman on the street, only about 100 meters from the hospital. Seeing that the pregnant woman seemed unwell, Hu Yixuan assisted her in the opposite direction of her home. The two were then seen on the surveillance footage of a nearby apartment complex, entering the building and then disappearing. Before Hu Yixuan disappeared, a friend reported receiving a text message from her saying, "I am taking a pregnant aunt home, and I have arrived at her house." The police quickly identified the pregnant woman as Tan Beibei. On the evening of July 28th, Tan Beibei was arrested at Bai Yunjiang's home in the countryside. She claimed not to know where her husband was hiding. The police from Huainan County searched the area and found Bai Yunjiang hiding in an abandoned house in a nearby village. Tan Beibei quickly confessed, while Bai Yunjiang was uncooperative. Both were brought back to the crime scene to reenact the events, after which Tan Bei Bei led the police to the location where the victim's body was disposed of. Faced with overwhelming evidence, Bai Yunjiang was forced to admit his guilt. However, he claimed that Tan Bei Bei was the mastermind, who had sought out the young girl and coerced him into committing the crime to silence her. The couple continued to blame each other. While awaiting trial, on August 1st, 2013, Tan Bei Bei, who was pregnant, was taken to the hospital and gave birth to a baby boy. Both families refused to adopt the child, citing that they could not afford to care for him. Ultimately, the police decided to place the baby in an orphanage. Tan Bei Bei agreed to the request not to reveal the identity of the child's parents. On June 12, 2014, Bai Yunjiang and Tan Bei Bei were tried in a closed court session. In addition to the charges related to their depraved acts and the murder of Hu Yixuan, they were also prosecuted for robbery in 2 other cases. On June 16, 2014, Bai Yunjiang was sentenced to death with the sentence carried out on January 30, 2015. Tan Bei Bei was sentenced to life imprisonment for similar offences. What do you think about today's case? Please leave your comments below so we can discuss it together. Don't forget to support us with a like and subscribe to the channel to motivate our team to bring more dramatic cases. And that concludes today's case. Thank you, dear viewers, for watching. Goodbye, and see you next time.